So I remember years ago holding this experience, this large event for, I think there were about 40 or 50 women in the room. And I knew I was going to do these breakout sessions where I was going to have like half the room on one side and half the room on the other side. And I specifically remember I was going to help kind of co-facilitate the conversation on one side of the room. And I invited my mom to co-facilitate on the other side of the room. Now, mind you, at the time, I was just starting my journey with exchange. I was learning all these skills about facilitation, and I was really excited to put some of this into action. And so in preparation for this event, I remember telling my mom, okay, like you're going to ask these particular questions. And if this happens, you're going to do this. And I'm kind of like coaching and guiding her. Now, my mom, for those who don't know her, is what I consider like the modern day Mother Teresa, like the most grounded, present person you will ever find in life. And I'm giving her all this like coaching and guidance. I'm like, all right, we're going to rock this. We do the thing. We come back. The event is a huge success, big win. At the end, I'm debriefing with my mom. And I remember I'm never going to forget this moment. And I'm never going to forget how I reacted at the time and what I learned years later. I'm talking like 7-8 years ago, guys, like years later where this is finally landing for me. So I'm debriefing with her and I'm like, okay, so like, did you ask the questions? Did you do this? And she's like, oh, it was brilliant. I didn't have to do anything. And I was like, what do you mean you didn't have to do anything? She's like, well, every time there was like a lull in the conversation, I thought of, what you told me, but then someone else came in and kind of asked the question that I would have asked, or someone else chimed in. And she's like, it was perfect. Like it just emerged exactly as it was meant to. Now, total controller that I am, I'm like, but mama, like maman French for mom, your role was the co-facilitator. You were supposed to be the one guiding the conversation. And, I'm like looking to her like you should have taken the reins and like you should be the one asking the questions and moving the conversation along, right? And I remember, even though I don't remember all the nuanced details, the feeling I remember was like she didn't do what she was supposed to do. Now, the outcome was exactly what we wanted and everyone was raving reviews. I remember that. But it was like, oh, she missed the mark. She didn't actually act as the facilitator in the group. But again, that sentiment, it was like, this is where I think our subconscious or superconscious knows more than us, right? Because for whatever reason, I never forgot that like there's something that hit me, not consciously, because again, consciously it was like I was disappointed, but like my soul was like, remember this moment. Now here I am again, like 8-9 years later. Facilitation is like what I do now. Like I've been in so many of these group experiences and I'm coming full circle moment. And I've had many of these with my mom. So she's that wise of a human. Hi, mom. But I'm coming back full circle realizing, holy SHIT, you guys, everything that she did in that moment was actually what master facilitators, this is the skill set that all of us actually need to learn. Because what she did was she held such strong intention for what she expected or hoped and desired for the outcome of that facilitation to be, that she actually never had to say the words because her intention is, and this is actually what I remember her telling me, like, I knew what I wanted to happen and I believed in it so strongly enough that it just happened. But she didn't actually have to be the one guiding and doing it. And I think this is what differs from newbies to mastery level facilitators is what is the energy of how you're stepping into that space. And at the time, I'm not afraid to say I was operating with a lot of ego. I'm the one who's guiding the conversation. I'm the one who took control of that conversation and asked that question and brought it around. And that's why I was disappointed, because she was not operating from ego. She was operating full heart space. And that's the lesson I'm learning here 8-9 years later. So if you're a facilitator, if you're a guide of any kind, the gift that I learned from my mom, who is not a trained facilitator, but who lives from that heart space in such an abundant way, is when we step into these spaces, again, from an energetics perspective, the field, when we enter a field of energy, what is the energy that you're bringing into that field? And when you're so tuned in and so tapped in, and you're so clear on the outcome that you desire, you can see it and feel it so clearly. I think we can all get to that level of mastery that we actually never even have to say the thing, because people will be in resonance and coherence with you that it naturally emerges. part of that too, part of a lesson I'm currently learning is how powerful it is to really trust and surrender. So I may come in with my desires and hopes, and it may play out exactly like that. And it does more often than not. But the times that it doesn't, it's because there was something greater that needed to emerge that ended up being an even greater lesson for me and the collective that was needed holistically. So coming in, stepping in again with that energy and that curiosity, and really that trust, that strong belief that when we know what we're doing, when we come in with the desire to open hearts, to unlock minds, to create and really tune in and tap into that potential, to unlock that for a group and a convening, and we act with that heart space intention, magic always unfolds. So I hope that you found this story entertaining as it was for me to just full circle back. Oh my gosh. There's so much wisdom in just trusting the process. And we as guides don't need to be the one with the reins in our hands every single time, but that we can entrust. And I hope, to be honest, that's what's so needed right now from our facilitators, from our guides, is that we hand the reins to the group. We let them take control. We let them take responsibility, and we let them co-create what emerges. And it happens way more naturally and with so much more ease when we step back and we be the space holders versus the actual guide. So this is like a deeper version of being the guide on the side, not the sage on the stage. Look forward to hearing your comments below. Anything that resonates. Looking forward to also sharing more wisdom bursts with you soon. Thanks for tuning in.